Hello, everybody. Let's discuss Christopher Marlowe and his tragedy play Dr. Faustus. So, first of all, Christopher Marlowe was born in 1564 in a very middle class family where his father was a cobbler. He attended King's College on a scholarship, and again he won another scholarship to attend Corpus Christi College in Cambridge, where Marlowe completed his BA degree in 4 years and then stayed on at Cambridge to work towards on MA. Christopher Marlowe's later life was marked by mystery, controversy, and brilliance. During his time at University of Cambridge, he frequently absented himself, leading to suspicion that he planned to join the Catholic seminary at Reims, though the Privy Council of England intervened and revealing he had been government service, likely as a spy. After leaving Cambridge in 1587, he quickly rose to fame in London with plays like Tamburlaine, Dr. Faustus, and The Jew of Malta. He was known for his bold, violent, and unconventional themes. His final years were very turbulent, like involving violent incidents, suspicions from the authorities, and possible connections with Espino's network under Queen Elizabeth I. In 1593, at just 29, Marlowe was killed in Deptford by Ingram Fraser under questionable circumstances. It was possibly linked to political motives. Shortly after his death, he was accused for atheism, blasphemy, and immortality surfaced. Marlowe's work are very highly influential in English Renaissance drama, and it is known for their powerful theme like poetic language, larger than life characters. His major plays include Tamburlaine, which portrays the rise of ruthless conqueror, Dr. Faustus, a tragic story of a man who sells his soul for knowledge and power, The Jew of Malta, centered on revenge and greed, Edward III, a historical tragedy about a weak king and his downfall, and The Massacre at Paris, depicted religious violence in France. He also contributed to Dido, Queen of Carthage, play were based on classical mythology. In poetry, he is a notable work including Hero and Leander, which is an unfinished narrative poem, and famous lyric, The Passionate Shepherd to His Love. So, all this is writing, often exploring the ambition, power, desire, and rebellion, making him a key figure in shaping early modern English literature. The plot of Dr. Faustus follows the story of highly learned scholar Faustus, who became unsatisfied with a traditional subject like logic, medicine, and theology, and turns to magic to gain unlimited power and knowledge. He makes deal with devil through Mephistopheles and agreeing to give his soul to Lucifer in exchanging for 24 years of magical powers. At first, Faustus uses his power to explore world and perform impressive feats, but soon he wastes them on trivial tricks and entertainment for king and nobles. Throughout the play, we see the good angel urges him to repent, while evil angel pushes him towards sin. But Faustus repeatedly ignores chances to seek God's forgiveness. As the end of 24 years approaches, he filled with fear and regret, but still cannot truly repent. Finally, when time runs out, they will come and drag him to hell, and the play ends with a moral lesson that his ambition and misuse of knowledge led to his tragic downfall. So, this is very a little short plot about the particular tragedy. Let's move towards how many acts were there, how many scenes were there, how many important characters are there. So, the character here are Dr. Faustus, Mephistopheles, Wagner, good angel and evil angel, Valdez, who is a friend of Faustus, Cornelius, he is also a friend of Faustus, then the Lucifer and Beelzebub, one of Lucifer's officer, the seven deadly sins, clown Robin, and Rafe, Wintner, Carter, the Pope, the Bruno, and Martino, and another very minor characters are there in the poem, but we have to focus only on the major characters. There are two main versions of the Dr. Faustus play, which is known as the A text. which was published in 1604. Usually, it was divided into 5 acts and around 13 scenes. The second one, the B text, it was published in 1616, expanded version, and it was divided into 5 acts and 20 scenes. Play open with the prologue spoken by chorus in the opening scene. When you see the chorus is introducing the Faustus, who is a very brilliant scholar and humble background, and simultaneously chorus also warns the audience that Faustus' story will be a tragic one, and showing how his excessive ambition and desire for more the human limits will lead to his downfall. Prologue uses classical references like Icarus to foreshadow Faustus' fate. Just as Icarus failed due to overambitions, Faustus too will fall because of his pride and desire to exceed human limits. So there is a act 1, scene 1, where you will see that Faustus is sitting and deciding that the magic like necromancy is the best way to gain godlike abilities or such a controlling life and death. So this scene highlighting his pride and ambition, which becomes cause of his death. Scene 2 is the comic scene where Wagner, Faustus' servant, argues with a clown and showing off his learning by using confusing, scholarly language, and he even threats the clown with magic to make him servant. So this scene provides comic relief also. So in scene 3, you will see Faustus entered and he just trying to pray to and sacrifice to the devils, and he begins his Latin incantation, calling a number of devils by name, including Mephistopheles. Then one devil, Mephistopheles, appears before Faustus, and who immediately commands him to leave and come back in the different shape. Devil exit, and he came into a Franciscan friar, which is a very holy shape for Faustus. And there is a discussion between Faustus and Mephistopheles about what is the fallen angels, how they fail, why they have damned, and who is a god, who is a Lucifer, who is a big and who is a short, and what is a pride and insolence. So everything is just a discussion here between Mephistopheles and Dr. Faustus. And in scene 4, there is again Wagner and clown and the boy. There is again comic scene happens. In scene 5, we will see that Faustus begins to doubt whether he has made good deal or not, and he's considering turning back to God. So then good angel and evil angel appear. Good angel tries to convince him, Faustus, to repent, and evil angel counters by telling that Faustus, do not think like this, think about wealth, think about many things. And then Faustus resolved to go with his deal with the Mephistopheles. And he summons Mephistopheles, and Mephistopheles announces that Lucifer has accepted your deal and you have to sign your own blood and finalize the deal. Now Mephistopheles leaves and re-enters with more devils and bringing Faustus' crown and expensive clothing. So Mephistopheles, promises Faustus that he now can access anything, any riches thing, anything ability to call forth spirit. And now Faustus has a new good power, and again Faustus orders Mephistopheles to get him a wife, and he returns with the devil woman's clothing, which Faustus feels very angry, and Mephistopheles gives Faustus a book filled with magic spells. So he tells Faustus that book contains spells and raise up spirit, as well as knowledge of the planet, heaven, and all plants, herbs, and trees. And in between those things, again good and evil angel appears and encourages Faustus to repent, promises God's forgiveness, and evil angel again say that go, do not pity Faustus, don't do this. There is one moment where Faustus wanted to repent for his sins, and through Christ. And then what happened? And at Faustus' invocation at Christ, Mephistopheles appears with Lucifer and Beelzebub, and Lucifer tells Faustus that Christ cannot save him, and that talk of Christ injured the devils. And then Lucifer announces that he has come to show Faustus the 7 deadly sins in the proper shape, for which Faustus is excited. As each personified sin enters, Faustus questions them. The sins are pride, covetous, wrath, envy, gluttony, sloth, and lechery. Each describes the quality of own sin. And Dr. Faustus were very pleased at seeing the sins and eagerly asked Lucifer to see hell. Lucifer says that he will send for Faustus at midnight and encourages him to peruse the book of spells in meantime, and for which he can learn how to change his shape. And there is a scene 6 where is a Robin and Rafe offer some comic relief kind of a scene. And in the next scene, we say Wagner says that Faustus is traveling through the sky in a dragon-drawn chariot to explore astronomy and would likely visit Rome first. And upon arriving in Rome, Faustus wanted to expand his culture and intellectual horizon, and he is visiting the city's monument. But Mephistopheles easily persuaded him and used magic for cheap tricks and pranks on the expenses of the Pope. So Faustus' lofty ambitions are sliding at a bit as he uses his power to indulge as a baser instinct. And in the next scene, Chorus enters and tells audience that Faustus has returned home from his travel and amazing his friends with where he was learned of astrology and the world. And in the next scene, we will see at the court of the Emperor Charles V, who is asking Faustus to prove his skills in magic by performing a spell through a night. So same character as Benvolio. So there is a skeptical of Faustus. Faustus agree and emperor asks him to bring forth the spirit of Alexander the Great, since the emperor greatly admires the famous conqueror. And on the order of the Faustus, Mephistopheles leave and return with the spirit of Alexander Great's spirit. And then after emperor promises Faustus to a reward for his display of magic. And then Faustus returned to Wittenberg, and then he meets a horse courser and sells him his horse. So this is a very comic scene here. And then in next scene, we will see there is the Duke and Duchess of Van Holt entertain Faustus at a court. So Faustus asked Duchess that what he can do to please her. So she asked him to make a plate of grapes appear. Since it is the middle of the winter and there is grapes only available in the summer. So Mephistopheles leaves and brings back grapes. Duke is very intrigued and asks Faustus how he procured grape in the middle of winter. So Faustus answered that when it is winter in Germany, summer is opposite part of the globe. And then Faustus encouraged Duchess to eat the grapes, and she says they are the best she's ever tasted. So the Duke and Duchess promise to reward Faustus for his display of magic. And in the next scene, we will see there is again Chorus intervene and says that Faustus must be nearing of death because he has given Wagner all of his possessions. In the next scene, we will see there is a Faustus and Mephistopheles are with several scholars. One of them asks Faustus to conjure up Helen, the mythical Greek woman who was supposedly the most beautiful woman in the world. Faustus summons her. Helen walks across the stage, and the delight of the scholar who leave after Helen disappear. So in the between of the scene, there is an old man enters and tries to attempt Faustus to repent. Faustus here became so enraged and shouts on that man, and he tells to Mephistopheles to torment the old man for making him doubt his bargain. And then he asks Mephistopheles to make him Helen as his lover. Helen appears and Faustus begs her for a kiss. In the next scene, we will see Faustus enter and with the scholar, and now he is at the end of his deal with Lucifer. Now Faustus is laments on his sin, and scholars tell him to seek God's mercy. But Faustus answers that God cannot pardon him. He reveals that he has given away his soul for all knowledge he has acquired. The scholars are horrified. And then Faustus cries to God for help, but the name of God, he feels pain in his heart because he has given Lucifer his soul. So he begs Lucifer to spare him, then asks the earth to gap open and save him from hell. He asks the stars to carry him up to the sky. And then clock rings out. Faustus has half an hour left. He begs God for mercy and asks to be in hell 1,000 or 100,000 years and then be saved. So rather than being eternally damned, he curses Lucifer and himself. Midnight comes, and Faustus despair. Devils enter and carry Faustus off as he continues to cry out, promising to burn his book. So there is the last epilogue. The chorus announces that Faustus is gone and tells the audience to see his downfall as an example of why they should not try to learn unlawful things that tempts wise man to practice more than heavenly power permits. So this is the last epilogue of the play Dr. Faustus. In the next video we will discuss which or how many type of question they can ask in the UPGDC exam. Thank you.